Undisputed fighter Josh Taylor goes in on Teofimo for trying to upstage Canelo Alvarez and show his belts after Canelo's victory over Caleb Plant. I'm going to talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Listen, I don't know how you found my video, but somehow, some way you've made it. Please help others arrive at the content by throwing a like on the video. It's free, it's quick, it's painless, it takes a couple seconds. Let go. Josh Taylor verified page says, that little rat Teofimo Lopez parading in on Canelo's with his Mickey Mouse WBC belt. What a effing brass neck, shaking my head emoji. Embarrassing. The guy is so desperate, it's unreal. There's only 2 undisputed champions with all the belts. Fact. Thank you. Good night. So, this is in reference to after Canelo knocked out Caleb Plant in a very fun fight. Check out my breakdown and Boxingego watch party. Canelo Alvarez, he, showed he's a great finisher when he gets you hurt. Knocked out Caleb Plant in the 11th. Somehow, some way at the post-fight press conference, Canelo, he's doing what he should be doing, showcasing his hard-earned victory, and he's showing his belts. And somehow that turned into Teofimo getting on stage and posing for pictures with his belt. So there's pictures you'll see on the internet with Canelo and Teofimo Lopez, who they don't train in the same gym or anything. They've had dialogue at, I remember Teofimo went to Texas to one of Canelo's fights, things like that. But it's not like a Ryan Garcia where, in fact, Ryan Garcia and Teofimo are kind of rivals. And Ryan Garcia is a guy who trains in Canelo's gym. And Canelo recently had some constructive criticisms for Ryan Garcia. So I was doing the Boxingego watch party. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. Another lucrative and very successful one. I really enjoyed covering this fight week. And of course, the main event, Anthony Durrell also had a great uppercut knockout in the co-feature. So very good stuff from the Showtime card. But I seen pictures after I got off the internet and got off my own live stream, and it was Teofimo, and I'm like, how did this happen? Because I haven't watched the post-fight, as of recording this video, I haven't watched the post-fight interviews or press conference because I was doing my own thing. And I seen these pictures with Teofimo on stage, and I'm like, how did this happen? Because another thing is Teofimo, he's an ESPN top-ranked fighter that was gonna fight on Triller, that is now gonna fight on DAZN. And it has nothing to do with the PBC brand, nothing to do with Canelo's gym particularly. He's not trained by Eddie Reynoso or Chepo Reynoso. So I didn't really understand it. So this is what Josh Taylor is referring to. He's saying, like, look at you, you're desperate and you're trying to get some buzz going for you. I don't know if Eddie Hearn has something to do with this, because Eddie Hearn said he's working with Canelo Alvarez and he's also promoting Teofimo's next fight on DAZN. So I don't really know what the deal is, but I just thought it was weird. And Josh Taylor, he ripped Teofimo saying, hey, you're not undisputed. And the great Ego Stradamus strikes again. I told you that Teofimo, the WBC created a lot of calamity and a lot of confusion with the adage of new belts. And then the whole franchise champion, it started with Canelo, then it ventured on to Lomachenko. When those two guys had it, initially it was stated from the WBC that these titles are a status and they were non-transferable. Then they changed the rules to make the Teofimo Lomachenko fight transferable. So even though Lomachenko lost and he was the franchise champion, which was supposed to be a status, the WBC again changed their own rules. And now they said when Teofimo beat Lomachenko, they said he's the WBC champion, which created even more confusion, because it's just like, I understand it's your belt and you're the sanctioning body, but you're not playing fair because you can just change the rules whenever you want and say the committee voted on it, right? So this created a problem because Devin Haney was supposed to fight Lomachenko. He was the mandatory. He was the #1 guy rated to fight Lomachenko, and he was calling out Lomachenko, right? And even though he was calling out Lomachenko, he couldn't get the fight based on politics. Top rank didn't want the fight. They put him in with Anthony Corolla and then later Teofimo Lopez. So nonetheless, this wasn't Devin Haney, Bill Haney, or Eddie Hearn's fault that Devin couldn't get the Lomachenko fight. So that beef has never been settled. And then when Lomachenko lost to Teofimo, Devin Haney again called out Teofimo several times over, and you could find evidence of this on the internet. Recently, they even had a run-in with each other at the Fresno show at the Mikey Garcia versus Sando card. And nonetheless, the fight hasn't happened. So I agree with Josh Taylor, it is a bit weird and it does look a bit goofy that Teofimo is kind of encroaching on Canelo's moment, and he's there with his belt. Like, who goes to a fight and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it was a plan or Eddie Hearn planned it or whatever, but it just looks weird. Who goes to a fight with all their belts? Unless it was like the Charlo brothers and then the other Charlo brought his belt or something. You know what I mean? Maybe something like that. But when the fight really has nothing to do with you, your brand, your organization, it does look a bit weird that for the sake of, if Canelo becomes undisputed, you're holding your fake undisputed. And the great ego Stradamus strikes again. Like I told you, Josh Taylor is telling you what I've already told you. The WBC can say that Teofimo is undisputed all they want. First of all, he has a tall order with George Kambosos. The fight has been lingering on. We got to see how he looks in that particular fight. But even if he gets past Kambosos, until he fights Devin Haney, in the mind of the public, he will not be undisputed until he rectifies the situation by fighting Devin Haney, the full WBC champion. If you look by way of definition, you go to dictionary.com, Webster's Dictionary, etc., and you look up the term undisputed, it says no dispute, without question, uncontested, or non-contested, right? These are the types of things you'll see. So by actual definition, Teofimo cannot be undisputed, despite what Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC are saying. He can't really be undisputed if there's a guy running around your same division with the full-bodied belt, not a silver belt, not an interim or diamond belt like a trinket belt, but the full version of the belt. You guys can't. It's like the Wild Wild West when they used to do the take 50 paces and spin and then see who could shoot each other, the gunslinger days, the Wild Wild West. This town ain't big enough for the both of us. Things like that. You know, Tombstone, the OK Corral. That's boxing. How can you be undisputed if there's a guy that's saying he's better than you and saying he wants to fight you? And it's not like he's just saying it like he's just trying to talk himself into a payday. He really has skills to pay the bills. He's really a great fighter, and he really has the belt. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Devin's the email champion, but he didn't ask for that. He asked for the fight. He didn't ask for the WBC to grant Lomachenko and make him the franchise champion and have it play out the way it did. So you can't fault him. But since he's an African-American fighter, you know how that goes. Old media is going to try to find a way, and certain fans are going to try to find a way to make it Devin Haney's fault. But he's asking for these big fights, whether you think he can win, whether you think Teofimo sleeps him, you think Lomachenko beats him, it doesn't matter. They got to step up and actually fight him for that to happen. So Josh Taylor is really corroborating what I've already told you. Teofimo, he could say he's undisputed and say, hey, the WBC said I'm undisputed, right? But at the end of the day, there is going to be that asterisk by it, because just like Josh Taylor is saying, there's only two people in boxing right now, because Terrence Crawford was undisputed and then he moved up, and then Usyk was undisputed and then he moved up, right? So there's only two concurrent people in boxing that are truly undisputed, and that's Josh Taylor when he beat Jose Ramirez, and then now Canelo in beating Caleb Plant. And the beautiful situation with those two fighters, Canelo and Josh Taylor, one, they're very elite fighters. They're great fighters with a great resume, doing and paving their way. And then the other thing is this: there's nobody in the division that could say, I got a belt that you need to finish this collection. Devin Haney can say that to Teofimo. you know? And if he doesn't, if Teofimo doesn't fight him, there's always going to be that confusion. Josh Taylor, he beat Regis Prograis. He beat Jose Ramirez. So he unified and he fought those guys and he earned it the hard way. Same thing with Canelo. You know, there's only one belt, the WBC, where David Benavidez lost it, but that's not Canelo's fault. But the politics, you know, they threw the belt in the Caleb Smith fight, but he still beat Caleb Smith and he still beat Billy Joe Saunders, and now he just beat Caleb Plant. So Josh Taylor and Canelo, I could vouch, they actually fought all the formidable people that had all the belts, except for the WBC situation for Canelo. They kind of just threw in the vacant belt. But he fought the people that the WBC said he had to fight. Devin Haney, again, until Teofimo sees him, is going to always have this black cloud over it. So I agree with Josh Taylor. I think it's a bit weird that Teofimo brought his own belts to Canelo's moment. It should have been Canelo's moment. It's Eddie Reynoso's birthday. So that's a huge congratulations, and that's a huge birthday gift for Eddie Reynoso. It really should have just been their moment. I don't know what Teo and his dad, like what bearing they had on Canelo winning on a off platform, you know, on another network. I just thought it was weird. But let me know what you guys think. Josh Taylor rips Teofimo Lopez. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe if you like the content. And I'm out. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.